Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us is Martin Mucci. He's the CEO of Paychex, and we're going to learn how Paychex is helping businesses navigate through COVID-19. Marty, it's great to have you back with me. Thanks so much for joining us in what is certainly unprecedented times in the marketplace and, of course, our economy. Tell us more about Paychex and what you have done to adjust business operations in light of the pandemic.
Sure, Joe. It's good to be here. Paychex has been in the payroll, HR, insurance, and retirement business for over 4 decades, almost 50 years now. And this has been a critical time for our small and mid-sized businesses. We serve mostly businesses in the under 500 employee size, 670,000 customers across the U.S. and Europe. When this started, we moved our employees, about 95% of our employees, into a work-from-home environment, both in the U.S. and in Europe. And we did that in about 5 to 6 days based on the investments that we had put in place earlier than that and over the last few years. And we also shut down, actually, about 100 facilities where we were and only kept those for essential personnel, and those are basically printing and packing checks for those employees or those clients that still want those. We discontinued, of course, all non-essential travel, large gatherings, things like that. And our work from home really worked because of our virtual private networks, our WebEx, our unified communications. We can serve our clients go across the U.S. and they can be served from, frankly, any location. And certainly now 15,000 of our employees are serving them from their homes.
All right, let's talk about the jobs index and what you saw for the last reading. And even with that, we're not going to see the full data until we get April's reading. But is there anything that you can see from March that will give us some clues into that?
You know, we didn't get too much of a clue in March because the cutoff is around the 19th of March. So we saw very little impact. We did see a slight jobs index decrease. And the wages were still kind of holding. So we didn't get much of an impact from March. What we're hearing, of course, since then is a very large impact, as you would expect, particularly on small businesses as they have been shut down by government regulations, or they have just transitioned to takeout or to partial business in most of their employees either working from home, some of the locations. But we really, up until then, of course, had one of the strongest economies we have seen in history, at least in 30 or 40 years. And so it's an amazing drop that we've seen that we expect to see in the April-May timeframe from that super strong economy and really the lowest unemployment rate we've seen to now, of course, as of this morning, about 26 million filing for unemployment.
How about the impact to Paychex clients?
Yeah, what we saw was, pretty much what you've seen out there. We have a number of clients that are under 20 employees. Those are the restaurants, the lawyers, the doctors' offices, healthcare. Some of those have shut down completely. Others have transitioned to very few employees. So we have seen, and we would expect to see in the April numbers, a large drop-off in jobs, in working, although many of our clients have furloughed their employees, basically saying, hey, look, I'm going to lay you off. I'm going to stay in business for now and see if the loan program, the loan forgiveness program, can work for me, or I can find other dollars to continue the business, keeping it open, deferring maybe some of my expenses. That's what we're hearing from clients, is many of them trying to stay in business and weather through this, hopefully that it lasts a few months before they can get back up and running.
All right, Marty, tell us about Paychex's response to your clients, how you're helping businesses navigate through COVID-19.
Sure. We've continued from a service perspective. We've made sure that we've continued our 7x24 service. So anyone, you can go on our website and self-serve, do a lot of things, or our mobile app where you can pretty much stay in contact with your employees. You can have them punch in and punch out remotely. You can keep your social distance by using our mobile app for most of the services that you need. And but you can always reach a live person 7x24, 365. We've also created a COVID-19 center, help center on our website with resources. We've had webinars that have held 8 to 10 to 12,000 participants where we've given a lot of communication. We have a compliance team of over 200 people that will constantly go through all of the regulations as they're fast changing. We then prepared a report proactively for our clients to file for the loans through the Paycheck Protection Program, so that you could get one report that would give you all the data you needed on your past payroll and employees to file for your report directly. And actually now working on the loan forgiveness reports. Even though guidance hasn't been given directly from the federal government yet on that, we're already working with them to try to create a simple report for those who have taken loans to get them forgiven. And of course, we've worked with a number of partnerships to give our clients, if you come in on our website, you can get access to some of the fintech loan providers like Biz2Credit, and so that you can, if you can work through your bank, that's fine. If you look for other lenders, we'll have 2 or 3 other lenders on our website that you can go through to try to access that loan. So we've also partnered with PayActive, where we have a pay-on-demand product where our clients can have pay on demand. So if you have someone only coming in working partial shifts, 8 hours today, 8 hours later in the week, they can be paid immediately if you're on our pay on demand product. And this is something we're seeing an increased demand for as well.
All right, and let's also walk through an example with the Paycheck Protection Program.
Sure. I think basically on that program, you're going to be able to take out a loan, which can be forgiven, or it's carried on at about a 1% interest rate. But you start out at about 2.5 times your payroll, your average payroll. And so you need the information on your payroll. This is what's in our payroll report that's already pre-calculated for our clients. But you can get about 2.5 times the average payroll loan amount. And if you keep the majority of your employees paid, and there's some other rules on that, but basically if you keep your employees paid, you will have that loan actually forgiven. It basically is looking to cover about 8 weeks of your payroll and some of your other rent costs and so forth. That's the proxy that they're using on the 2.5 times your monthly payroll, so that you can have a loan that will continue to pay your employees, keep them making some money while you may be shut down or while you may have limited demand for your products and services. This keeps those businesses running, hopefully until we can open back up and you can get them back fully employed. Again, if you follow those rules, you'll have the loan forgiven by the government, and therefore you've kept your employees, you've kept your business ready to reopen at full board when it opens up.
All right, and Marty, to wrap up here, certainly there's no way we're going to go back to our old normal. What do you think the new normal may look like? Do you expect more people to continue this work from home environment? What does that look like for small businesses?
Yeah, I think it's hopefully it's going to be probably at best a phased-in approach. I think social distancing is still going to be very important, and so I think you're going to see restaurants and gyms and workout centers, places like that, all working to find a way to provide social distancing. Number one, so I think there is going to be a little bit of a hurt on the demand. You may have the demand, but it can only service a third, maybe to start, or half or 3/4 of your client base as they come into your restaurant or so forth. But I do think that it's going to be a phased-in approach. Hopefully, it won't take too long before we feel better about it. But I think we're going to have to watch the medical experts and the guidance that they give us to be able to open up in a slow, careful manner, not to have a reoccurrence happen, over the next few months or into the fall.
All right, Marty, great to catch up with you as always. Thanks so much for joining us on Trade Talks.
All right, Jill. Great to be here. Thank you.
All right, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.